The last question. So if you think of somebody that is trying to make that decision, they have that like, oh, I want to do my own thing, but they're scared or they're comfortable. What's the one piece of advice that you would share with them?
I love that question. There's a book called Little Bets.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that's somebody who's big in the menswear industry told me about this book. And when I was starting, and it's about taking little bets instead of taking one big bet, right? And also the analogy, you got to get a first down before you get a touchdown, right? So for me, what really worked was making the business a side hustle, right? I recently hired an interior designer for my home, and she works at a big box store, and I kind of pulled her out of there and we said, "Hey, I'd like you to come do my home, but we don't need them. Just come over here and work for me, and I'll pay you directly." And she's like, "Oh, this is great." And I've helped her, like, how do you form an LLC? Like, and I have a whole plethora of clients thanks to my business who could use her services. So I tell her, like I would tell other young entrepreneurs, is start it off as a side hustle, right? Especially if you're young and you don't have kids, like, forget the partying and the drinking, like focus on this. You have the time. If you're working a 9 to 5, there's mornings, there's lunch hour, there's after work, there's weekends. To me, there's no excuse not to have a side hustle. Why not have it be something that you're passionate about that you think could potentially grow? Worst case scenario, you're satisfying that passion. That's worst case. You keep your 9 to 5, let's say it's in the pharmaceutical industry, and you like making candles on the side. That's your side hustle. Great. At least it satisfies that passion. And who knows what it's going to turn into. You can put in as much or as little time or effort as you want. If it grows and it's huge and you can leave that pharma job, fantastic. That's the American dream. And if it does, guess what? There's other pharma jobs out there. If you do leave and go in your candle business, year 1 and 2 are okay, and then it takes a complete dive and it stinks, guess what? Go back to corporate America. There's a ton of jobs out there. You can always go back to it. It's not you're leaving it forever. Start small. Take a little bet on yourself. Start it organically. Start it as a side hustle. Work really hard and grow it from there and see how you like it. And maybe it's not a success. Maybe it's like, you know what? I didn't like this. Okay, well, you get the farmer job to fall back on. Maybe, okay, you didn't like candles and you get into doing something else. But start as a side. You have that security blanket of your 9 to 5 and that paycheck. Go start a side hustle.
It's funny because I've had friends that have lost their corporate job that they've hated for years, and I'm usually one of the first phone calls, and I'll say, "Congratulations! Go celebrate! Take your wife out for dinner." And they're like, "Did you hear me? You have a brown envelope in your hand." Yes. Okay. So I'll tell you, it's probably a substantial amount of money. When I get fired, I don't get a cup of coffee. So you just won the lottery, right? And so I love that because the thing is, the question I ask, what's the cost of not doing it?
Sure.
You'll never know. And we regret the things we didn't do more than the things that we did do.
Yep.
And try. And that's one of the things I love about the family-owned businesses. They have a lot of courage. So
Yes.
it's morning LinkedIn Live. So they have a lot of courage, I'll say.